downtown St. Paul. There was a benefit show sponsored by ANERA and Mizna, hosted by Egyptian American comedian Ahmed Ahmed. The evening was great, diverse group, sophisticated comedy from the start of the evening, and take no prisoners kind of comedy. The audience enjoyed it. It was a great evening and great fundraising for the Syrian and Palestinian refugees. And we're gonna talk to the star of the evening, Ahmed Ahmed, after the show. So
الحمد لله وعايشين اولادنا وان شاء الله ربنا يرزقهم من الدعم اللي بتجيبوه لنا وهم يستفيدوا وان شاء الله ربنا يرزقهم.
Our Syrian refugees in Lebanon, about 50% of our programming in Lebanon is now geared toward helping Syrian families. So that's something I'm very proud to be part of. So this is something good.
I'm Palestinian. Saed is not joining me right now, although he's the more charismatic one. He's Palestinian. You know, we're living in this country fairly, privileged and well protected, but Palestine is never far from our hearts and from our minds.
Everybody, takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar!
Normally when you do shows for Arabs and Muslims, they have what I call resting bitch face. That was not funny. No, that was not funny. You're going to burn in hell. So it's nice to be here. Arabs, clap for your Arab. Nice. Got one black guy, very nice. We have 5 you. Just in case anything goes down in here tonight. Uber driver was Somalian. Yeah, and I couldn't, he started speaking in Somali, and I started getting nervous. I didn't know what to do, because when he was looking at me in the rearview mirror, I thought he was going to maybe do something to me. So I said, you are the captain. You are the captain of this ship. I've traveled all over the Middle East doing stand-up comedy. I'm originally from Egypt. Any Egyptians here? Nice. Nice. Enough to start a revolution. Good. Just need a couple of us. Went to Egypt. You fly Egypt Air? Have you guys flown Egypt Air? Yeah? You won't, right? You don't want to die. Has anybody ever flown Egypt Air? And you're alive, wow. They should call it Ghetto Airlines. It's, they're so cheap. When I got on the plane, the pilot asked me for gas money. There's duct tape on the wing. It's pretty good. They censor you around the Middle East. If you go like to the GCC, Kuwait, Dubai, Qatar, these countries, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia especially. When we were there, the promoter in Kuwait pulled us aside before the show. Our first show ever was 10 years ago. And he said, okay guys, here's the deal. You cannot talk about sex, drugs, religion, or politics. That's pretty much everything. So what is there to talk about? So then one of the comedians I'm with raised his hand, and he's like, there's a joke that I do where I say fuck one time. The promoter was like, man, you're putting me in a bad place. I don't know, man. I was like, I have like 15 fucks. True story. He goes, okay, here's the deal. Each of you can have 2 fucks. But no more than 2, because it's my ass on the line here, okay? I'm like, wow, we're negotiating profanity at a comedy show? I've never done that. And then we're driving to the gig, and the guy's phone rings. Hello, yes, I'm with the Access of People Comedy guys right now. We're on our way to the show. Yeah, I told them they can have 2. What do you mean? I just told them they can have... Okay, fine, khalas, bye. Guys, no fucks. A lot of fear in the world right now, a lot of fear happening. I'm assuming nobody voted for Trump in here, anybody? Just curious, you never know. You never know. You're getting hisses over here. Hey, I didn't vote, don't hiss. What are you, a snake? What was that? Over there in the Middle East. You watch Fox News, this pop-up news, they don't really show you, and they're always showing you images of Arabs just walking around. We're not Game of Thrones. It's not that point. It's terrorists in the Middle East, terrorists everywhere. Donald Trump's a terrorist. How about this? Anybody following ISIS? I'm not following. I mean, paying attention to ISIS. How can you not? They're so popular. They're all over the news. Who reps them? Like, who's their agent? Wolf Blitzer? I just want to find out how they're getting so much fame. And dominating wars? And you're driving 1968 Toyota pickup trucks? That's how you're doing it? I have a lot of friends that are Iranian, and they always say, I'm Persian. I'm Persian. No, you're not. The empire's dead. Haven't you seen 300? They made a sequel about it, too. There is no Persian. I'm Egyptian. That's like if I don't call myself a pharaoh. Right? I'm like, hi, I'm Pharaonic. That's how doing this. There's a Muslim dating, there's a couple of them, but there's one that I found called, I think it's called Muslim Only. So like, that's how you said, yeah, you know it, you want it? You should keep that to yourself. Jokes. Egyptian, Dam Khafif. Light-blooded. He's always cracking jokes. My dad had quadruple bypass open heart surgery. He smoked for 40 years, had a heart attack, went in the intensive care unit for 12 hours, right? They ripped him open like a frog in the whole bypass. He wakes up from the surgery, 2 nurses are hovering over him. He wakes up, looks at him, he's like, what do I up? One of the nurses said, I see you. He said, I see you too. But what I up? It's very funny, Mr. Ahmed. Are you okay? Yes, I am okay. Thanks God. Thanks God. Thanks God I am okay. I know I cannot be dead. This is not heaven. There is only 2 of you. I'll leave you with this. I made a documentary 7 years ago about comedy in the Middle East. We went to Dubai, Lebanon, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, performed in front of 20,000 Muslims and Arabs. Islamophobia happening right now and all the stuff that President Trump is doing. So it's nice to get this piece of content out there so people can actually watch the documentary and say, oh, okay, Arabs and Muslims do laugh just like us, hence the title, despite cultural and religious differences. And when I made the documentary, we premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival, which is Robert De Niro's film festival. So I got to meet Robert De Niro, childhood, fan of his, one of the reasons I got into the industry, and it was really cool. We were introduced by our publicist, Mr. De Niro. This is Ahmed Ahmed, director of Just Like Us. Ahmed, this is Robert De Niro, and he did the whole, I saw your movie and it's good. I've been to Egypt before. Oh yeah, what part? I don't know. Around. Like, don't ask too many questions. He said, yeah, that's really great. Can I introduce you to my father? Because my father is in the movie. And so I go to my father, and I says, Dad, come here, I want to introduce you to Robert De Niro. My dad has no idea who Robert De Niro is. He says, yes, let him meet me. Dude, it's Robert De Niro. He's an international movie star. It's his film festival. Just come over and say hi. My dad, back then, was 76 years old. He walks over with his cane, right? So, Mr. De Niro, this is my father, Ahmed Ahmed, Dad, this is Robert De Niro. De Niro looks at my dad, he says, you're the guy in the movie. And he hugs my dad. And they had a moment. I got pushed out of the conversation. About 30 seconds went by, my dad's whispering to him, I don't know what he was saying. De Niro puts his hand over my dad's shoulder, he looks at me and he says, I love your dad, but I got no clue what he's saying. He walks away. And my dad's telling everybody, I just met Johnny De Niro. Very nice guy. Any Filipino people here? Any Filipinos? They're all working. Okay, good. It's fine. Filipino people never get mad. You ever see a mad Filipino? Huh? The new president? President Trump was Filipino? Oh, well, does he get mad? I don't know. I've always encountered Filipinos with a good sense of humor. They're always, even if they get mad, they always cover it up. They're like, fuck you. Fuck you, sir. White people don't want to clean other people's feet. But Asians, they're great, man. I remember there's a place in Los Angeles I used to go to. It was Asian Nail Spa, right on the corner of Melrose and La Brea. I think it was called Asian Nail Spa, basically. Yeah, packed with Asians, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, just knees, walking around, right? It's like an assembly line of all these women with their masks on, just chiseling away, these older, rich white women's feet, everybody reading their Vanity Fair, right? I come walking in, I'm all tall, hairy, they all pop up and look at me like deer in the headlights. They don't even know why I'm in there, right? So then they send over the leader, the person in charge, whatever, little Asian woman comes running up to me, what you need? I said, I'd love to get a pedicure. Take off your sock and shoe. So just to mess with her, I took off one sock and one shoe. She didn't like that. She was like, take off your other sock and shoe. Took off my socks and shoes, and she's staring at my feet like she's watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something. She was like, oh no, your feet are so ugly. Hold on. Ching da bong ching da. This door opens up, 6 Asian women came running out, circled around me, and they had an argument to see who was going to be the one to take my feet. Da ching da bong bong ching da. Da ching da bong bullshit there. Bullshit there. So now they can't make up their mind. They went in the back room, they shut the door, they had a second meeting in the back room. Who's having 2 meetings over your pedicure? They were back there for like 10 minutes. I don't know what are they doing back there. Rochambeau? Paper be rock, you lose. Because the loser came out wearing a hazmat suit. She was prepared to die. Anybody else?
Can you talk a little bit about Mubarak trial? He's been free now, and people still.
Where the hell did you come from?
As an Egyptian.
Quiet the whole night. Tell me about Mubarak. I'll tell you about Mubarak. When we first started going to Egypt to do shows, the promoters, there's always a speech or like a, they always have to disclose, put something out there. They were like, listen, when you go on stage, make sure you do not do any jokes about Mubarak. It will be minimum 2 years in jail. Okay? No Mubarak jokes. And then when he was asked to step down, they called me up, do you have any Mubarak jokes? Light switch. So yeah, I mean, he was, untouchable, and now I guess you can make fun of him, but I still wouldn't make fun of him. Because there's going to be some angry Egyptian guy or whatever that's going to try to put me in jail. All right, well, I want to thank Hani, everybody with ANERA, all of you that came out to support. I love this city. It's really nice to see a really diverse group of people coming out and supporting this awesome cause. Anything for the Syrian and Palestinian refugees is always a good cause. And I just want to say thank you very much. My name is Ahmed Ahmed. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much. I got a round of applause for him.
Thank you guys for your time, and please put your hands together for our guest. And we'll be taking selfies, Ahmed. People, if you want to take pictures, maybe? Pictures, no? Okay, that's good. Anyway, make sure you hashtag ANERA and do all that stuff.
What an evening. Great guy, great comedy, very personal. His interacting with the audience was wonderful. His sense of humor is universal and mainstream. And I have a chance to hook with him and ask him a few questions. We're in Union Depot here in downtown St. Paul. We're having a great evening here supporting Syrian and Palestinian refugees, and the star of the evening, Egyptian American comedian, an international name now, a filmmaker, a director, an actor. Your journey for Egyptian American. I know you came here very young, but how your comedy evolved, between before 9/11. Now it's almost becoming a mainstream. Like
Started. Thank you. First of all, I started as an actor, and I wasn't really getting the opportunities I wanted in Hollywood to play mainstream roles. So I got into stand-up comedy to have a voice, and then, I was doing it for about 7 years, and then September 11th happened, and then it wasn't really cool to tell people you're from the Middle East. But I forged through it, and I kept on talking about it. And, for me, and most comedians, funny's funny. So whether you're Arab or American or black or Hispanic or Asian, every culture has a funny angle. So I just wanted to kind of play up the Arab angle and make it, bring it up to speed and into the mainstream. And, comedy is the best way to break down any barriers and stereotypes. And
in your comedy, you are you're taking no prisoner. You are just an equal opportunities. And is this sign of that maturity you're talking about?
I think if you feel comfortable in your skin, then it's okay to talk about almost anything. There's a couple things I don't touch. I don't really talk about, cancer, rape, stuff like that. I try to stay away from the underdog, But yeah, I think, comedy's like you kind of walk up to the edge of the cliff, you look over, and then you pull back. So you kind of keep pushing it until somebody complains.
I know it's easy to make fun of Bush. It's easy to make fun of whatever, Mubarak or whatever, even if going through us. But how do you make a joke about a joke? It took Trump, and a lot of people. This is a lot of material for 4 years, as you mentioned. But the guy is a joke. How isn't it hard to make a joke of a joke?
No, it's easier that way because he is setting up the platform. If you just watch him and you see all his antics, it's funny, and then for people to comment on it, it becomes even funnier. So, yeah, it's going to be, a good 4 years for comedians.
Best career move here. Yeah, what do you think of Minnesota audience? In Minnesota, nice, very little bit reserved, but you have a mixed audience.
It was a really mixed crowd. People really got the material. There was a lot more, white American people here than I expected. So that was
Majority white.
Majority white. White and superior. No, it was great. People really got it. I think that this brings a lot of awareness. Things like this when it's a community event and not just an event for Arabs or just Americans. It's brought a lot of different nationalities together, and humor, like any art form, does that.
And let's talk about your film. Just like us, this is a gutsy move for me, to travel all over different culture. And I know you said humor or comedy is universal language, but also it's a culture specific. It took me 10 years to laugh at David Letterman jokes and get it. Without stereotyping, how the audience there in those 5-6 countries you visit?
They got it. We just, there's certain things we don't talk about. We don't touch anything religion, the government, there's certain things you can't talk about. But when we were going over there to do comedy almost 7, 8 years ago, the internet was available. People can go on YouTube, Facebook, they can watch clips. So it wasn't like a big secret. People already knew American stand-up comedy by the time we got there.
We were talking about, I had a film, just like I showed a trailer, and once the film started, I heard the call for prayer. And I said, come on now. This is usually how foreign producers or directors, in most of their films, the film about Arab and Muslim, I hear the call of prayer so many times as a signifier. You define that we are in a Muslim country. So how, when you tell the story of Muslim or a Muslim country, do you tell it as somebody is looking into anthropologist, or would it make different if that was just an American, background?
Yeah, no, I did it from my perspective and my point of view. It has, it definitely has a familiarity around it because it's an American, Middle Eastern guy showing you the Middle East. So a lot of Americans got it because it was, it was produced and shot like an American movie, but with Middle Eastern content and Muslim content. So, it's sort of like Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations, but instead of food, it's comedy.
And I think that's a very nice knowledge.
It's me saying, hey, let me show you Egypt, let me show you Saudi, let me show you...
Without the fucking part. We use our language a lot. Well, thank you so much for coming. We wish you well. You really, it's amazing to make it possible for people, to be proud of their ethnicity and become a mainstream, and you live to talk about it. Ahmed Ahmed, the Egyptian American comedian who really makes the evening a wonderful evening where Muslims can confidently come and intermingle with non-Muslims and laugh at themselves. This is a place where Muslims can say Allahu Akbar twice without really alerting the security and getting people evacuate the building in a hurry.